rant video. In today's video, I want to talk about Flora's character issues and basically like everything the creator did to her character and why I'm so freaking mad at him. To start the rant video, I must explain why I even give it like a living heck about Flora. And why I think it's important for this video to freaking be made. Okay? So, how do I start? In the beginning, when I was younger, I really didn't care about like the Winx Club characters. I didn't feel anything towards them. I didn't have a favorite character. No one I really felt like strong feelings towards. I just remember watching a bunch of the Chantix transformations, and that was like the only thing I really had feelings for, like in Winx Club, were the transformations. Specifically Muses and Flora's, especially Muses. Like Muse and Chantix transformation is so I just love it. The choreography, everything is just so amazing about that, and that's what I remember watching when I was little. So me beginning to like Flora, like all started like a few months ago. Like I was just doing some random things, doing my annual rewatch of Winx Club season 2. And there was this scene where Flora and Riven were on the balcony. Flora's on the balcony talking to Riven, and if you know anything about me, I freaking love ships. Like I'm gonna ship like every freaking day. I'm gonna read the fanfics. I'm gonna do everything. Like I love ships. And when I saw Riven talking to Flora about his feelings alone, I was like, what? Because if you know anything about Winx Club, you know they never like allow this, which is another problem Winx Club has. The creator would never allow a specialist to really have a serious conversation with any other girl than their girlfriend, unless it was Bloom, of course. But after that scene, I was just like, I see the picture, I see the ship. Of course I find I don't want to start fights or anything. Of course I find Musa and Riven interesting, and I enjoyed the struggle, but I wasn't rooting for the relationship. When I saw Riven and Flora though, I started Flora through the ship, and that's not really uncommon for me to begin to like a character through a ship, and that's how I slowly began to like her. So now it's time for the reason. Why do I think Flora's character didn't go anywhere? If you know anything about Winx Club, it's very much like all style, no substance. And what I mean by this is during the production of Winx Club, like the creator was like giving these prototypes designs, and he saw them, and he was just straight up, ew, what the heck is that? And so, traumatized by these designs, the creators fired all them stinky people, and they hired a new crew that could design the girls much better. It's very apparent in Winx Club, there's so much detail to the transformations, their civilian forms, fashion, even the background characters, and the architecture of the show. I think, the budget for the designs and everything end up sacrificing the writing, because Winx Club suffers from a huge amount of plot holes. Season 4, and the fans were, I think, just able to ignore the writing issues due to the designs and transformations, and etc., Okay, let's dig into this cake. So, we're gonna go with the number one, my number one, issue I have with Flora, and that is, she's treated like a freaking caregiver. I got my notes with me, so sorry if I sound a little bit weird or I sound like a freaking robot, but I came here with the receipts, okay? So, Flora is very much treated like the friend group's caregiver, especially to Bloom. Sorry about my freaking phone. I can't name all the instances of Flora doing this, but I do remember one. Okay, are you guys ready for this? So basically, Techna just got her Chantix by sacrificing herself to close a portal and Andros, It's really hard to speak about the next part, but about an episode later, the girls are back at Afia. Everything's right, everything's nice. It's the middle of the night, and Flora says something along the lines of, I couldn't sleep either, I was too worried about Bloom. Mind you, everyone thought Techna died. I'm gonna just let that sit there. The next thing I say is all gonna come together, and it's just gonna prove my point that she's specifically Bloom's caregiver, okay? So, fast forward to season 2. I used to just join the group. Stella says something insensitive, she's brutally honest like a freaking Sagittarius, but she says something very insensitive to her, and Aisha runs away, crying, and Musa goes after her. I'm pretty sure Flora was there too, and I don't think she did anything. Okay. I know Flora is supposed to have this kind, caring personality or whatever. But if the only time she's exercising those friggin' traits is when Bloom is the victim, and not anyone else, not even her other friends, I have to ask, is this how she acts to everybody, or only towards friggin' Bloom? I know I said that the other topic I just mentioned was probably my number one thing about Flora that I really hate. But the most annoying one is when she's forgotten or / treated the weakest. It is the most annoying attribute thing, the problem ever. Okay, so maybe I don't really remember the specific episode's name, but I remember everything about this freaking episode. Okay? So, In the episode, Musa sees Vivian with Darcy. And the witches notice this, and they notice that she's upset, and they start picking on her. And angry, Musa slaps Icy and Stormy get all the witches, all the Cloud Tower, everybody and their mama to chase her. The Winx and the Specialist come to help Musa fight against the witches, as good friends should. During the battle, Flora is zapped by Stormy while she's in the sky. You wouldn't guess who's right next to her. Oh, did you guess Bloom? Well, you're correct. That's another reason why I don't like Bloom. I really hate this woman so freaking much. I don't care if she's the main character. What would have made Bloom, I don't know, I don't even know, maybe an inch a better friend would have been if she threw one fireball at Stormy and then dived to save Flora. She could, maybe, in my eyes, have been redeemed. But the amount of times, stuff like this happens to Flora during battles is almost comparable to the amount of times Bloom nearly dies. I guess that's why they're best friends. During that, specific battle, Bloom witnesses her, fall and stuff, and the camera just ponders at Flora the whole time. And when I mean ponders, I mean longer than the Zutarian hug. Now put your hands up, it's a whole lot. Money, cause I be the let that sink in. I think what even gets me more pissed is that no one saves her. Not the boys, not even one of her friends, nobody. If you look around the battlefield in that panel, all the specialists run to attend to their designated girlfriends, but no one ran to help Flora. When the battle is done, the show just skips to them on the airship.
How are you feeling?
Much better, thanks. Oh, please, Stella.
And how about you, Musa?
Everything's okay now, Sky.
Even though this episode is from season 1, I still prefer to rewatch season 1 over the other seasons because Flora being characterized as super weak wasn't that bad in the season as it was in the later ones. She was characterized as being a pushover kind, weak mellow person. But she was never that person until season 1. She had some sass, and great spells, and which I think something that she would lose as the show went on.
What fairy are you anyway, Flora? You can't even bring Murda back from her pumpkin state?
And you can't even tell a pumpkin from a carrot.
I feel if they wanted to make her this kind, shy, not outgoing character, they should have made her more Fluttershy from My Little Pony. For real, for real.
How dare you! Listen here, mister, just because you definitely get to be a fool.
But anyway, let's get to the, third point. How she's treated like a checklist. This is only a minor issue in this section. But when the creators decided, she needed to earn her Chantix, so they gave her a freaking sister. Because she needed to save, someone from her whole planet, her hometown, Linfeya. And I was just why not mention this in the beginning? That would have gave her a backstory or something to know about her, which just proves that this was just her sister was just a freaking plot device. Miala was just a freaking plot device, which got me so freaking riled up. The second point in this section is just the one that I really just hate the most. And I think in season 2, the creator just realized that he's killing two birds with one stone by adding Helia. And what I mean by this is, Helia was now giving her a boyfriend because she was the only girl in the group in Winx Club who didn't have a boyfriend yet. Also Aisha in season 2, but, and it was also, giving her a reason, to also earn her Charmix, to get over, her fear of talking to Helia and blah, blah, blah. And you know what really pushes me to believe that Helia is just, such a plot device? Is that even though Helia was said to drop out of Red Fountain because he was, a pacifist, the creators still re-added him. And I honestly think they just did that so that they wouldn't forget that Flora and him interact. They didn't have that much chemistry either, other than him just being mysterious. I also wanted to mention Kalimara also mentioned this in her Flora video, and that just made me so happy and finally recognized, because I was oh my god, someone finally talked about Flora's freaking character. I genuinely thought no one even cared or even noticed. I thought the Winx Club fandom was dead and just mindless people who just the transformations. But yeah, to add more to this section, this is another thing I do not like about Winx Club. How everyone needed a boyfriend. The Winx don't really help the girls that emotionally during battle. After they got their boyfriends, the boys would be their emotional helpers through the battle. You even seen that through freaking that episode when Musa was getting chased. But then again, the creators can't make the friends be the ones to check up on Flora during the battles all the time, as well. So that's why I think she also got Helia, because they were not even caring for her when she fell through battle. Now this is especially so Helia was there to and this is not given an arc, kind of slash backstory. But before I can mention Flora's non-existent arc, I must mention the actual main quote-unquote characters' arcs. These are just a quick rundown, so sorry if I missed something that they did. So, Musa. She has a deceased mother, and that is shown throughout the show to be affecting her. She also has like relationship issues with like Riven that we see go on like throughout the series. I like to a point that it's annoying. I'm just like, girl, just like break up with him, because you already know how I feel about Valentine's Riven. Opposite attract, but I don't want to talk about that right now. She even has her own mini conflict with her dad on whether to pursue her music career, because that made her mom died. Okay, now Stella. Stella's probably like my favorite example like of the Winx girl like club girls that had like a better backstory than Flora. Okay, so basically, her parents have gone through a divorce, that has shown to be also affecting her throughout the whole show. Her relationship with Brandon, and how they're often tested for like whether their care for each other is like authentic. For example, like the time like Stella turned to an ogre, and though Brandon just and felt like Brandon just like liked her for her looks, and she had to find the beauty within. And my personal favorite one was probably the one like when they were like in Darker's cave. Yeah, Darker's cave, and they were like just separated from the group. And Brandon was being forced to marry, like, the queen from underground, but he stayed faithful. Like, that's what always comes to mind when I think of Stella. That arc with them underneath the cave. I know it's not really Stella's personal one, but it was really the relationship and why, like, I will always, like, just never, like, try to ship her with anybody else. Okay, last but never not least is Aisha. Slash Layla. I know that she was, like, heavily mistreated by the show. But, like, she also had, like, a lot of plot and like arcs that she had overcome, like the time like she was trying to save the pixies from Darkar, and like the backstory of her like suffering with her isolation in her childhood, and like lost one of her only friends when she was a kid. She also struggles like to fit in with the Winx. The Andros arc, especially from season 3, and also trying to save her home planet as well. And the arranged marriage plot with Naboo, enemies to lovers. I guess I could also talk about Bloom, but I feel like I really don't have to explain anything about her because the whole show already revolves around her. If you know, you know. Flora doesn't really like have her own arc, and if she like does, it's very forgettable and really tiny, like the Helia thing. She does have like freeing murder from her pumpkin stay, but that's also really easy to forget. This one kind of connects to not giving an arc, and this is the very last point, and that is not giving a backstory. We don't learn anything about her parents in the first 3 seasons. Not the specials, not even Tekna. I know Flora's parents were like in the comics, but why are you putting such like vital info in comics that everybody's not gonna read? I also know these like supposed parents were in later seasons, which I think is even more crazy because season 4 was even planned only on 1, 2, 3, and the movie.
Pleased to meet you.
I'm Rose. What can I say about myself? If I were an apple tree, she would be my first apple.
Oh, my first apple.
Sometimes I help her out. Really?
But yeah, she was just like so underdeveloped. We don't know anything about her flaws other than being shy. But she has like no serious trauma she has to overcome, like, which is like we don't know anything about her past at all. So yeah, I hope like some like we're in the future, probably in the reboot, even though like it's kind of good for 3D, even though like it's not like 2D. I hope like somewhere like in the future in the reboot, since it's not that good looking, like I guess like visually probably. I hope somewhere in the future that they fix the writing somehow. I hope they fix the writing, and if like this time like designs aren't gonna be like in their strong suit, writing better be in their strong suit and stuff, and Flora better get fixed. But yeah, I hope you liked my video. Bye guys, adios, ciao. I hope to see you guys again soon.